Good morning, church fam. It is a rainy Monday morning, and we are going to dig into chapter 27 of Psalms today. So, um, this psalm really talks about how God is just not only our defender, but our very best defender, our very best defense, no matter what we're going through. And so, as we look in the psalm, David wrote this. And this is in the midst of him being chased and pursued and trying to be killed by Saul. And so we look into in any of the Psalms, it's almost a roller coaster. Like David really just cries out to God. And I don't know about you, but it brings me so much encouragement to just read the Psalms, because I think sometimes we're a little nervous, or we don't know what to say to God, or maybe we feel like we can't be just completely honest when God already knows our heart. He already knows what we're thinking, what we're feeling. He already knows how the situation is going to turn out. And David really gives us this incredibly crazy sometimes, but beautiful example of how to just cry out to God, regardless of a time when you're just saying thank you for everything, or in a time when you're like, God, what is happening? And so I feel like we can just relate and just understand David and his just emotional roller coaster that we kind of jump on when we're reading through the Psalms with him. So in Psalms 27, one of the verses that I really wanted to talk about this morning that really stood out for me was verse 4. And so when we read it, it says, "One thing I ask of the Lord, this is what I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple." And if you continue into verse 5, it says, "For in the day of trouble, he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his tabernacle and set me high upon a rock." So when we look at those verses, David is just seeking to dwell and rest in God and his presence. When you look at the word dwell and just to sit and rest, and it reminds me of John, the book we just went through, when it talks about Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus, and she's just worshiping and just resting in who Jesus is. It makes me think about Adam and Eve, and how before sin entered, they had this incredible opportunity to just walk in the cool of the day with God, and just sit with him and walk with him and rest with him, and just rest in who Jesus and who God was, and just dwell in his presence. And so David is just longing for that, just waiting and longing to. I really think it almost gives us a picture into what it's going to be like when Jesus comes back and we are really with him, but just to be in his presence. And we can have that even now. And so I think it's amazing to look at how he was just longing for that, but to look at why. So in verse 5, it tells us that. It tells us that in his dwelling, he will keep me safe. And so when we're in the presence of God, we find safety, we find love, there's security, there's comfort in that. There's just this overwhelming peace that comes when you are with God. And it doesn't matter what's going on around you, because crazy can be happening, but you can just feel this stillness when you are just truly resting and dwelling with God. So I think that's just such a wonderful place to hold on to right now, because I feel like as we continue to walk through this time of uncertainty, which I know is what we all continue to keep talking about, because it's the only thing that's going on right now, right? It's hard to plan. It's hard to know what's going to be next, because we don't know. And truthfully, do we ever know? I mean, I know right now we've kind of really don't know what's going to happen, but do we ever really know what's coming? it really, I think, encourages us to hold on to God, because he's the only thing that we know is going to be that constant in our life. He's not going to change no matter what. He's always going to be that still perfect, peace-giving God, no matter what comes our way. Another verse that I just wanted to point out and talk about is the last verse, and it says, wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. And I just think it's such a perfect way to end this chapter of 27. David's being pursued, and he's just like crying out for God to keep him safe from his enemy, deliver him from his foe. And then he just ends by saying, wait for the Lord. No matter what, I'm waiting for you. I don't want to be a step ahead. I don't want to be a step behind. I just want to be with you, God. Just continue to walk with me, to lead me, to guide me in what's next. And I think that's exactly where we have to be. Tony mentioned yesterday in the message that when you don't know what to do, just do the next thing. And so I don't know what that looks like. I'm not even sure what that looks like for me, but I think that that's what we have to keep doing, is just doing the next thing and just waiting for God in this not anxious waiting, just stillness, being confident and sure of what God is going to do in our lives, which is always something greater than what we see, just resting in that, because that can give us confidence as we take that next step. And so it's a lot easier, I think, in our minds to take the next step when we see where we're going, but we don't know. Ultimately, heaven, and that's all we need to know. But it makes it easier to just take one step at a time. So that's what I want to leave us with today, is that David was waiting. And who is better at waiting than David? He was told he would be king at age 16, and then it didn't, when he was just a shepherd boy, and it didn't happen until he was 30. So he waited a long time to see that come. And through like battles where people are continuing to pursue him and try to kill him. And so he's continuing to wait to see God's plan unfold. And I think that's exactly where we are. And we can just take so much encouragement from David and his story to just continue to wait and trust as God leads us. So how are you waiting as we continue through the next couple of weeks? As we're waiting ultimately to get to heaven one day, how are we waiting? Are we seeking? Are we sharing? What's that look like for you in your family, to just wait and hold on to that peace and love and stillness of God? I hope you guys are doing wonderful. We miss you guys so much, and we're praying for you. And I want you to know that I am praying these verses over you today, of just that God would just show you what the next step is, and that you would just feel this peace that just holds on to you, and that you could just hold on to God and just trust in his faithfulness. Happy waiting. I hope you guys are well.